Let's take a close look at the code. There's the instruction fetch cycle. That's the first piece in the code. And these guys with a slash mark comments. It says origin, which sets where it's going to generate code. And I'm giving you the fetch cycle, but there are things that we're going to point out in the fetch cycle. The first thing you want to do when you start working with this is where it says your name, go and change that to your actual name. The way that this gets uploaded to the server so that you can actually run it requires that you put your name in the code. So start with that. And you can put in as long as you want for your name. The things that you can do inside the microcode is there are these lines, and anything that's declared up here you can turn on. If you don't list it, it's turned off. So what you're doing is you're just listing the electrical signals that you want turned on. For instance, over here we've got one that says Microcode ID Microcode PC Inc. That increments the microcode PC to the next instruction. If you don't turn that on, you've instantly created a loop that just loops at that instruction forever. So that's kind of important. Let's take a look at the next section. We've got some fetch instructions for 2 instructions. And then down here, I've set the addresses for where you need to put in stuff for each instruction. And this is the JNS instruction, the add instruction, the substitute or subtract instruction, each one of the instructions. You should be able to tell if your instruction is working by what changes in the registers when you run that instruction. Now, a little bit farther down, there is this entire section here that has to do with skip instructions. All right. I've got the address for bringing up the emulator. I mentioned changing the string stir to your name on line 32. Lines 2 to 18 have the declaration. I showed you what the declaration looks like up here. That's all the lines that you can turn on and turn off. I don't think you have to use absolutely every one of these, but pretty darn close to every one of these. There's some of the jump lines that you won't need in this process, depending on how you implement some stuff. Let's put it that way. The PC, the IR, all of those registers, they all have load lines. They have increment lines. They have clear lines that set it to 0. They have output lines. There are some extra special lines on some of those things. The result register has an in0 line right there that you use for determining whether or not the value in the result is 0. The AC has an out to ALU that instead of outputting onto the bus, it outputs over here to the ALU register, so you've got the A side of the ALU register. As opposed to something else on the bus that you maybe want to turn on the MDR output here, so that you get that on the bus and you can load that on the B side, depending on what your instruction is doing. So those are all the registers. There's the special hardware. Handout, okay, which turns on just the lower 12 bits of the output from the IR register. That means you also have to have IR out on at the same time or you won't get anything. And there's the control lines for the ALU. We'll get to a table that has what those control lines do. And there's the control lines for the MUX, which is 0 through 2, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, and 1, 1 binary that determine which input on the MUX is put on its output side. So let's talk about the MUX decoder and how we get the decoding of instructions. Because at some point we've got an instruction over here in the IR register. We want to turn on one of these things over here to get that data from the IR out over here to the input on the MUX. So we want one of these things enabled that'll turn it on and send it over here to the MUX. And then we want to pick the correct thing in the MUX, like 1, 1, with a 1 and a 1 that'll show up here in the MUX, and that'll get us to the output. And then we're going to load into the microcode PC the value that's coming from the MUX. So Let's look at a table of what those things are. The way that the MUX is wired up is we have a jump coming from the microcode that's wired to bit 7 in the MUX. We have 4 bits from the IR that are connected to this, 15, 14, 13, and 12. Those are the primary decode bits. 3 more that are connected to the jump instruction down here that we are probably going to leave as zeros. So we want to turn on MC jump 7. We want to turn on some other things to get the output. We want to turn on the control line. And what we end up with is with MC jump 1 for, let's say, load instruction. So this is the load instruction, the 1. Those bits are 0, 0, 1. So we've got 0, 0, 0, 1 being put in from the IR, and then these others are zeros. So the load instruction, if we load the microcode PC with that value, we've got this binary address that we're going to end up going to. That's 10001000. That's 88 hex. And we load that into the microcode PC. So let's take a look in the fetch instruction and see how that's done. Up here in the fetch, we have at address 0, we do some things, and eventually we get to the decoder control lines, 1, 1, they're both turned on. MC jump is set to 1. We have the IR outputting. We have this extra line IR decode that turns on a line so it's a little bit more visible to you, but it would work without that. And we have the microcode PC loaded. And when we do that combination with a load instruction in there, we end up down here at this address for our next instruction on line 44. So we jump to address 88 by reloading the PC with a new instruction, the microcode PC. We're going to do some things inside this instruction. We're going to turn on the handout because it's a load instruction. And we're going to turn on the IR outputs that we have to have when we turn on the handout. We're going to turn on the memory address register to do a load. So it's going to take the data from the bus. At the beginning of every instruction, we do a set execute. The set execute says we're done with the fetch part of the instruction. We're starting the execute, and we increment the microcode PC to go to the next instruction, which should transfer whatever the handout is into the memory address register. Then we do a memory read, and we go to the next microcode instruction. And then whatever we have in the memory data register, which came out of memory, we turn on the output from the MDR register. We turn on the load signal for the AC register. And this is going to be the last piece of an instruction, so we don't want to increment the microcode PC this time. We want to do a microcode clear. And we also turn on instruction end to mark the end of the instruction, which is kind of required for the instructions to work correctly, so that you can single step entire instructions. And when we do that combination, what we do is we transfer the AC or the memory data register into the AC, and we've loaded the AC from memory.